Let me tell you what Ember Brands is not. Ember Brands is not a marketing agency. Ember Brands is not a branding agency. A lot of people would think the opposite, but let me just tell you and sort of straighten it out. Ember Brands is a space. I want it to be a community where people learn about marketing and branding. It's really that simple. So with Ember, what we're trying to do is to spark that conversation in Sri Lanka. For me personally, I know that Sri Lanka is a very complicated market. I've been in the industry for about 10 years now. I've climbed up the ranks from being a social media executive all the way to a digital marketing lead, handling budgets of $100,000 to $200,000 of ad spend. I myself have been a lecturer, I've been a digital marketer, I'm a photographer and a videographer, and I've built my career over the past 10 years. I personally have learned, and I have been fortunate to have great mentors to teach me. And I know that there are some people who have not had the greatest mentors or have not been a part of good teams for that matter. And I think it's important to have this conversation to learn the fundamentals of what marketing and branding is. I think it's important to talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, how are you going to learn? How are you going to know what other people's opinions are, how they've done things? And that's why I do all of these podcasts. That's why I make all of these fun videos. And even if it's low quality or if it's high quality, regardless of the production behind it, it's the value that I want to communicate to you on how you could be a better marketer. I do plug in a lot of branding content as well, because for me, I've seen brands rise and fall just because their branding hasn't been good. And I'm not just talking about a logo. I really don't believe your branding is just a logo, should be limited to your logo. It's everything. And as I always say, and I've learned from Martin Neumeyer, that branding or your brand is that gut feeling that the customers feel. And that's what I want to help you understand as well, and help you also understand how you can shape your brand around that, so that it resonates a little bit more with your customers. A lot of people ask me, why marketing and why branding? Why not just marketing, or why not just branding? I think it's important for both to be learned, because they both go hand in hand. You can't have the greatest marketing strategy if your branding strategy or your brand strategy is not functional or doing its job. Likewise, you can't have a stellar branding strategy without having your marketing in place. So both go hand in hand, and they actually complement each other. I'm here to also teach you about how marketing works in Sri Lanka. It's a very different market over here, and we consume a lot of content. Culturally, we are quite different to the West, and even areas like Southeast Asia. Sri Lanka is so different, and that's why I think the type of teaching would also need to be different. The types of conversations that we have would also need to be different. So a part of what I'm doing is talking to people, actually interviewing them, asking them the hard questions, asking them even the easy questions of how they got to where they are, like what brands did they build, whether they're entrepreneurs, whether they're founders, whether they're even just someone new to the world of marketing. I think my vision for Ember Brands is that anyone who would like to learn about marketing or branding would be able to do so. And we go to university, we learn all of these things. I myself am a lecturer, so I teach these things. There are so many things that you don't really use in the real world practically, especially in Sri Lanka, when marketing is a few years behind in comparison to places like the US or even Canada or the UK. So I'm here to teach you things that are relevant, things that will make you a better marketer, things that will make you add value to a team that you're in. So Ember Brands really is about just teaching you about marketing and branding. And if you're keen to learn about branding, if you're keen to learn about marketing in a way that is very different, a little nuanced, but also for the Sri Lankan context, this is the place to be. So like, follow, subscribe, do whatever you need to stay tuned and engage more in this conversation.
Okay, let's go.